Hello, my name is Adam. I have a website devoted to the Bally Arcade, also known as the Astrocade. It is at ballyalley.com. This video is going to show you how to do a installation of MAME, an emulator that can be used to emulate the Astrocade, a console that was released in January 1978. It seems that there's only one emulator for the system, and it is MAME. Previously it was called MES, and MES and MAME were two different projects. And so on my website you'll actually see under emulation, you'll see stuff that's talking about MES, for instance, right here. But it's all called MAME now, and it's all been integrated into one project. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take you through the steps required to get it set up on a Windows system. This system here that I'm using is a Windows 7 computer. To get started, before I even say that, I have this website, sure. I also have, used to have, with a couple of co-hosts, a Bally Alley or an Astrocade podcast. It's kind of defunct, but you can still listen to the first 8 episodes. It might be taken up again. I've been thinking about it again recently. It's always been hard to try to get together with several co-hosts. It's for timing reasons. I also have a blog which I started up in January of 2019. Today, by the way, is February 3rd, 2019, and I think that's all we're going to talk about for the blog, so let's close that up. And we will close up this as well. This tab is the podcast. And let's go to, we don't need that open, so let's go to MAME. That's where you'll want to go. You're going to want to go to mamedev.com. And then you can go to the downloads, which is right here. And I'm going to go to latest release, which in this case is going to be MAME 0206, and I'm going to get the 64-bit version. So I'm going to click it, and it's going to start downloading it to my default location, which is going to be on my hard drive. And here, it's going to take about 30 seconds to download or something like that. This system that I have set up, I have two users. One is a very plain basic user, and that's the system that you're looking at right now. And we are going to also download the ROMs required for this. This program has been downloaded. I'm going to grab the name of this program, and I'm going to extract it. I use 7-zip, but you can use anything you want. And I'm going to extract it to here. It just takes a few seconds. Now that's done, and here is MAME. Everything you need to run it is right here. Now we need to get all the ROMs that are required. So go back to ballyalley.com, go to Emulation, go to Cartridge ROMs, and you'll see Astrocade ROM Collection. Click on that and save it. And we're going to save it in the same location. It's going to be done. It's done already. It's only 1 megabyte in size. Let's go back up to the main part here, and if we double click on it, we will see that we have, yeah, that'll be fine. Let's just extract it. Oh no, I did not mean to do that. Let's select everything here except for this, and we will delete it. I selected the wrong file. These are things that happen when you're making videos. I meant to select this and extract it here. And so now we have something called the Astrocade ROM Collection. This is the latest version I have on ballyalley.com. It's from April of 2016. If you go into this, you'll see that there's a MAME folder and a 2sec folder. The 2sec folder has file names that are very descriptive. For instance, if you look at the program we're going to try, it's going to say Astro Battle, which was released in 1979. It was manufactured by Bally Manufacturing Corp. But we can't use those with MES. So instead, we're going to go into the MAME folder, and if you open up this Astrocade, you're going to see everything's got really generic names, but these are the names that are required for MES to understand them. Or, excuse me, for MAME to understand them. We'll select them all. I'm going to do copy. I'm going to go back up to my emulation drawer drawer. That's the name that you call something on the Amiga. I'm not using Amiga. and we will go into, I guess I have to extract this again because I deleted it. These are the little mistakes that you'll run into. I make mistakes all the time when I'm doing this kind of stuff, so please forgive me. Alright, now MAME is here. We're going to take, let's go back just so I can show you what I did again. MAME, we're going to take all of these files, I'm going to say copy. We're going to go back up to the MAME directory, and there's going to be a folder called ROMs. We're just going to paste the Astrocade ROMs here. There's 3 of them. There's 3 different ROMs that were built into the Astrocade. They're all relatively the same. They were released, I think, one in 78, one in 79, and perhaps one in 81 with the re-release of the Astrocade. I'm not sure. The most commonly used one is this one, Astrocade, and that's the one we'll be using today to emulate the Astrocade. Inside here, you're going to see all of these different files. Altogether, there are, let's see, there are 133 files. These are each a cartridge. Not all of them will work under emulation because some of them require real hardware to work. The Astrocade emulation that works for the Astrocade under MAME is sort of limited. I mean, it works pretty well for what it can do, and most cartridges will work with it just fine, including BASIC, although it's kind of hard to use with the setup that is the default keyboard mapping. So we want to go back to the main directory, and I'm using the 64-bit version of MAME. So if I double click on it, this is what I'm going to get. I don't have all of my available. Here we go. So these are the systems that are available for me. These are the ROMs that I just installed. I have the Bally Professional Arcade, the Bally Computer System, and the Bally Home Library Computer. If you notice here at the top where it says the Bally Professional Arcade, the ROM set is Astrocade. This is the most common one. I think this is the ROM that was used when the Bally was re-released in 1981 by Astrovision, and this is the ROM we're going to use. So we're going to double click on it, and it's going to bring us to all of the available ROMs. Many of these will not work because they require either real hardware or some settings that can't be emulated, at least not at this current time. So there's, I'll scroll through some of these so you can see what we've got here. I'll move my mouse cursor out of the way, and we've got such things as Bally Basic and Astro Basic. We're going to start up a simple Space Invaders clone called Astro Battle. It was originally released as Space Invaders, but it's most commonly called Astro Battle. So we're going to press enter on it, and we can say OK, and here's our menu. If you were looking at this on a television, you wouldn't see as much overscan as you see here, but it would look relatively the same. By default, the cursor keys are going to be the left, right, and up and down, and the control key under Windows is going to be the fire button. The knob is going to be controlled by the mouse, but I'm not going to show you how to use that here. You can investigate that on your own if you want to, or maybe I'll make a separate video if people are curious how to do it. The Astrocade has a hand controller that incorporated both a paddle element and a joystick element into one, and in fact you can use it here in order to make selections. Like if I press the fire button, I can you'll see it says 5. This is called the remote selection. If I had my mouse set up, I would be able to move it back and forth, or on real hardware with the knob, and I could make selections from 1 to 9 and choose something from the menu. In this case, I'm going to just press 1 on the keyboard, and it's going to choose Astro Battle. Now I get to choose my level of difficulty. I'm going to choose level 3, and now we've got the invaders. I'm going to try clearing one complete level, or some of them at least, just to give you an example of how the game works. I'm already dead. I'm not trying to do this for showing you my skills here, because if I was showing you my skills, well, at this game I don't play for too long, and plus this is a game that you can get on any platform. If I was going to show you something that was going to take advantage of the Astrocade hardware, I would show you something like The Incredible Wizard, which is a clone of the Wizard of War. But this is an example of how this works. So I'm going to show you a couple of other ways to load software. Once the emulator is running, you can press the Tab key and you get a whole bunch of options. You can look at input for this machine, and that's going to, whoops, I should probably pause it so we don't have to hear what's going on in the background. So pressing P gives you pause. Input for this machine. Now the Astrocade has a 24 key keypad built into it, and it makes using it a little more difficult than using, say, an Atari 2600 emulator. But for the most part, if you're just using most of the cartridges, you don't have to worry about that. You don't even really use the keypad, except for a couple of cartridges. So you can make all the selections with the joystick. And like the numbers 1 through 9 correspond to the keyboard or keypad under emulation. That's not the case with Astro Basic or Bally Basic, but we're not going to get into that here. It gets very confusing. I'm actually at some point going to make a separate video on how you can emulate the Astrocade and use Astro Basic, because it can be done pretty easily, but it requires some effort to make a keypad overlay for a keyboard. But in this case, if you check it out here, it says player 1 up is going to be up, or joystick 1. I have an adapter so I can use 2600 joysticks, so if I wanted to I could use that, or you could use any kind of controller you want. A popular controller I like to use with this system is my Xbox 360 controller. I just plug it into my Windows 7 computer and it just works, and I can use that if I want to. We're not going to make any changes here because the default settings work pretty good. What we are going to do is go to the File Manager, and we're going to go to the cartridge port, and we are going to say software list, and we're going to choose from cartridges. These are all the cartridge names that they are called with the on the left hand side. You can see the baseball is actually got 4 games in it. It's got Tornado Baseball, Hardball. We'll go down to the one I'm looking at here. So baseball has Tornado Baseball, Handball, Hockey, and Tennis. We are going to play. That's a good. I should have put more thought into this maybe, but let's try. I'll show you The Incredible Wizard, which is a game I was just talking about a few minutes ago here. Let's see if I type I think I can go to The Incredible. Let's see. Maybe it's just Wizard, actually. There it is, Wizard. The Incredible Wizard. So it's listed in alphabetical order by the left-hand side, not the right-hand side. But let's start this one up. Now this game is started. You select the game by choosing option 1, and then we'll choose medium difficult. I'll start the hard difficulty because this game is it's pretty difficult. We're going to play with 1 player, and we can get started. I'll just play for a little bit here with the keyboard. If you're familiar with this classic game, you'll see this game plays just like it. I've been smushed. Alright. Dead again. I'd like to at least get to the Warlock. Maybe I shouldn't have... This is what happens when I choose a difficulty level. If you press F3, you get back to the menu. I'm going to choose easy difficulty just so I can show you a little bit more of the game. Oh, and you can press fire to get past this. And remember, under emulation, the control key is going to be the fire button. And the cursor keys are going to let you move around, which is how I'm moving right now. Works pretty good. When you play on easy, the game is a little too easy, and the baddies don't shoot at you, which is good if I'm trying to show you how to play the game, but not so good if you actually want to have some fun with the game. Okay, this is the Warlock. If I shoot him once in a while, the Incredible Wizard will show up. In this case, he did not. Let's see if we can get him to show up. Alright, well, you know what? I'm going to show you some of the other features of the system. I'm going to press F3, get back to this menu. I'm going to press Tab to go to the software list again. Cartridge, File Manager. Whoops. We want to go to Cartridge Slot and Software List. Alright. And, you know, there's lots of documentation on on how to use MAME. Now that you've had this set up, you can find information on how to use MAME online, and using MAME for any system works relatively the same. It's getting the files going, which I just showed you how to do. So let's try a Galactic Invasion, which is a clone of Galaxian. In fact, it was also released as Galaxian on this system, as you can see here. Let's start it up with this. Galaxian, there we go. 1. Skill level will play 1, and I'll show you the differences. We'll start off with 3 bases, and number of players 1. And now you can see they're hardly firing at me, which is, you know, look at the difference now though. I'm going to start this, oops, I'm going to start this over, and I'm going to choose Galaxian again. The skill level now, I'm going to select 9. Number of bases 3. Now watch what their fire rate, how fast it is. It's basically impossible now. Like, whoops, hello. Yep, little difficult, right? Let's pause this. What other programs can I load in here? File manager. Oops, software list. And let's go down to the bottom. Let's see what we have. This is a great homebrew game. It requires the paddles, but it works pretty well. Let's try Treasure Cove. Treasure Cove is public domain. It was written by Brett Bilbray, and you can check it out here. And it's one of the more colorful games. Oh, in order to start it, you have to press F3 to get us, or not. Let's see. Cart, file manager, software list. Not sure why that didn't work. I thought I had to do an F3 to get it going. Oh, that's the prototype, so that's not going to work properly in here because it doesn't work. I don't even think it works under proper hardware. The Treasure Cove does work though. As you're going through the software list, let me pause this. As you're going through the software list, you'll see there's a lot of programs that don't work. All of the programs work to some extent on hardware. The Bally Arcade had a feature where you could take out a cartridge while the system was on, and some programs took advantage of this in order to switch cartridges, and there's a lot of programs that were ported from BASIC to the system to run from cartridge. None of those will work under the Astrocade emulator, but you can use all of the released cartridges. The system had about 26 cartridges released for it by first party, and there were some third-party cartridges. Altogether, I think there was about 35 or 40 cartridges, plus there's many prototypes, and you can run Bally Basic and write your own programs, although tape support isn't supported. As you can see here, this is Treasure Cove, and it's got a nice looking screen. The resolution of the system is 102 by 160, so it's 102 pixels high by 160 across. That's considered low res, because the high-res version of this system was released in the arcade, and such games as Gorf and Wizard of War had 4 times the resolution, or 320 by 204. Alright, let me unpause the game, and we'll get into the game. So, press fire to begin. Number of players is 1. Number of divers, I'll give myself 3. And start at the bottom. So, or start at the top. I want to go around collecting these balls. Now, what I can do in this game is I can press the I can press the fire button or go faster. And I just got to return back, and I collect all these guys, and I can go a lot faster by pressing the fire button, which is kind of cool, but it uses oxygen much faster. Again, I want to thank the people at Spectravision for releasing this game to the public domain back in about, it was 2001. I want to get killed. Alright, so that's this game. This game gets very challenging later on. I recommend you watching a video on YouTube. If you couldn't hear me, I recommend you watching a video on YouTube to see what this game is actually like. It looks pretty great. There's a nice review video of it. Check it out. I'm going to get out of here, go into File Manager again, and choose Cartridge Slot, Software List, And what can we see? What's a good game that I can show you that just requires a joystick? If I had the mouse set up, which I don't, I would show you how to use Brickyard Clowns, which is a great breakout clone. Candyman's a pretty good game. Crazy Climber is a game that's a little hard to play under emulation, although it does work. I will try it out here. It's a game that came out in, I think, 2012. It is a homebrew game. And 2011, there you go. It was written by Michael Garber, Riff Raff Games, and I helped get it released on cartridge. There's 50 of them made, so we're going to use one joystick. This game actually supports two joysticks, so you can control the game just like you would control it in the arcade, but we're not going to do that. So this game is pretty difficult to do playing with the keyboard, although it works okay if you are playing with the real joystick. It's a little hard to play this way. And some people have a really hard time playing it. I guess maybe since I was a playtester, I don't have too hard of a time. Although playing any system with the keyboard, not so easy. Eventually, as you climb higher, people start throwing things down at you. I'm going to get smushed here. Okay. Here is somebody. What a meanie. Alright. Now, there is an adapter you can buy, and maybe I'll show that in another video called, oops, I got killed, that lets you use Astrocade joysticks with this system. So if you have an Astrocade, or at least have Astrocade joysticks, which you can usually find for about 30 bucks maybe, used on the eBay, then you can actually use real hardware joysticks under emulation, and that's ideal. Alright. So I'm gonna, well, I was gonna not finish this game, but it's pretty good. But I'm gonna stop it here and press reset, and I'll show you some of the games that are built in. So if you press, normally I can eject a, let's see, file manager, cartridge slot, empty slot, and so now the slot is empty. If I press F3, well, it's not empty still, but I'm going to show you some of the other games that are built into the system. Built into the system are Gunfight, which I can't play without the regular controller because it requires the knob in order to move your gun up and down. And it requires 2 players. So we'll reset again and get to CHECKMATE, which is a game kind of, this is an arcade game. It's kind of like Snafu for the Intellivision. And we're going to have 1 player, and I'm the red player, and the other players are going to be the computer. Now I'm going to deliberately die here, and I'm going to show you the computer playing itself by pressing F3, by pressing again. Number of games will stay at 11. Number of players, if you press 0, the game plays by itself and it plays quite quickly. So this is the computer playing. I think it's a pretty neat feature. And then I'll show you scribbling, and the computer will can kind of do like a screensaver too. Alright, let's do F3. We reset it, scribbling. Now we're gonna normally you can, I'll just show you a little bit of playing by yourself. You can move, you can change with the knob, you can do all sorts of things, change the colors, change how large your brush is here. This came out in January of '78, so it's pretty cool for the time. There's all these options that you can use with a keypad. I'm not going to use any of those. I'm going to press reset and have the computer just play by itself. And it looks kind of like a screensaver when it does this. I'll let this run for about 20 seconds here. And next up, I'm going to show you maybe one more game, and then I'm going to call it quits. And in another video I plan to make someday, maybe sometime soon, maybe not, I'll show you how you can use Astrobasic, so you can type in your own Astrobasic games. And like I said, you can't save them, but you can save using save states. Alright, so that's enough of that. Well, I'm actually enjoying myself playing this, so let's try one more game. Input file manager again, cartridge slot, software list, and let's go down to the bottom. And just for the heck of it, I will show you Bally Basic. we're not going to really be able to do too much with it because typing with it isn't easy with the default keypad setup. But it does work. It's just that the keyboard setup for it, if you take a look here, the keyboard setup, so the keypad under basic, each key has 4 functions, and it makes perfect sense when you have a keypad overlay. It's very hard to understand what's going on when you don't. And so I've made a keypad overlay that you can print out and put over like a regular 101 key keypad, but that's getting into too much in this video here. But it does work. If you're interested in following up on that, it's very possible to do, and it does work fine. And you'd have access to 1.8K of RAM to write your own little game or something. Alright, let's get out of this screen. Let's go back into the file manager, cartridge, and what else we got here? We have, let's see, maybe I'll show you one of my favorite games, Cosmic Raiders. It's called Cosmic Raiders, but on the keyboard or on the screen it just says Cosmic Raider. This game was one of the last games released. I think it came out in '83. We're going to be 1 player. We're going to start with 3 ships, and we're going to play an intensity of 5. Basically what you want to do is shoot these bombs that are on the screen. I have a difficult time playing this game, or any game really, with just the cursor keys. So I recommend you using a joystick. So if you touch this, you're invincible. You can just go around shooting things, or running into them. Kind of cool little game. Right, well, that's about it. Oh, how could I forget showing you calculator? Let's see, calculator. So 3, I don't know what the point is on here. So 3 times, let's see, input this machine. Let's see, for the calculator, with the dot will be the 3 key. The period. What's the period? The period on here is not the 6. We want it to be, oh, I guess it's just period. It looks like 3.14. Let's see what plus is. Yeah, not so easy to use. So plus is going to be, oh, it's going to be the plus on the keypad. So plus 2, and then enter, and we'll just keep doing that. Alright, well, let's go back into a system, and I'll leave off with the game, and I'll fade out with that. I was about to say, hey, what game should I play? But you're not here, are you? So I will choose. We've got a software listing, and we are going to play Miss Candyman, a third-party game. This game scrolls down the screen. Alright, we'll play with 1 player, and we'll play abnormal difficulty, and yeah, pretty neat.